Thank you all for being here. I'll cut right to the chase. I cannot overstate enough how important it is for each person who resides in their city or town across the state to participate in the census. I have been a student of the census since I was in college. I understand so deeply the impact that it has in a city like Lowell, in a city like Lawrence, Haverhill, but also the surrounding communities of those big cities. You know, Jeff used the school example about imagine only getting funding for 80% of those students. Well, in the last census in 2010, in the 3rd Congressional District, we had 80% participation. And we all thought that's a success. 80% of folks responded to the census. But this year, we're going further. Next year, we want 100%. And I'll tell you why. It makes an enormous difference in the lives of the people who live in a community. There are 300 federal programs that rely on the data derived from the census, and it guides the distribution of $800 billion each year. I mean, just think about that. $800 billion each year. So that's money we see directly here in our community. It flows to our community hospitals, it flows to our schools, our senior citizens, our police, and our fire departments. It drives these funding allocations in 3 major ways. First, through grants and loans based upon a formula informed by census data. And these are the programs that were already talked about. Medicaid, heating assistance, SNAP, Section 8 housing, CDBG, which so many people in this room know about intimately, the Child Care and Development Block Grant, I have to mention because I keep making eye contact with Karen, Pell Grants, and many, many more. In a single year, these programs account for over $20 billion that come to Massachusetts alone. And in the last decade, since the last census, Lowell has received $20 million just for CDBG. That goes to our parks, our infrastructure, our nonprofits, and more. So I just want to emphasize the importance of filling out this form and us all collectively helping our neighbors understand the importance. The last thing we want to see is communities that need these services the most not fill out the forms that basically dictate the funds that we so much need. It's also used for direct tax expenditure programs, which, I'll go into the weeds a little bit on this with you because it just stresses the importance, but the housing tax credit programs, the new market tax credit program, that has proven to be a cost-effective incentive that spurs private investment in areas where access to capital can be limited. And in Lowell, the New Markets Tax Credit has contributed to the Lowell Community Health Center, which I saw a few folks. They understand where their money comes from, UTech, and so many other projects. And third, it's used for federal procurement programs. So when you think of the Small Business Administration and their Hub Zone and how they allocate their funds, the Hub Zone program provides small businesses and communities with additional contracting and funding opportunities, and much of the city of Lowell is in a hub zone, which means that those opportunities are available. Altogether, as I said, these programs represent $20 billion that come to our state each year. Filling out the form just simply translates into dollars for our community, dollars that we need, dollars that we deserve, in order to continue to grow and build a strong community for everyone. So there's been some controversy over the census that we got through, right? The Supreme Court actually decided that they were not going to put an unnecessary and politically motivated citizenship question on the form. That is because of the hard work of local leaders, concerned citizens, so many people like you, that was elevated, and we understood the detriment that would cause to so many of our communities. But even now, with all of the confusion and the fear-mongering, the forces that benefit from an undercount are betting that we won't fill out that form. And so we're gonna need all of you once again to prove them wrong and to get folks to be very comfortable with the safety of filling out that form and the importance. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, your coworkers that when it comes to filling out the 2020 census, as Father Wheeler said, we're going to stand up and be counted. And so thank you so much for being here tonight. If you need any information on how you can get involved, if you need a beyond summer job for someone in your household, that $25 an hour is fantastic. But it's also, there's a field office in Lawrence, Massachusetts. That'll be the closest one to us here. We're going to be at this. We're going to be standing shoulder to shoulder with all of you, making sure that we get an accurate count. And I'm delighted that you all came out. I thank you all for being a part of this. And together we will stand up and be counted. Thank you.